In this video, I want to show you how I write and design fun TTRPG one-shots. I just love one-shots, whether it's a single session distraction from a larger campaign or it's rolling up some fresh characters for a fun night of gaming. There's just something about designing and playing a start to finish game with a group of friends one night that is so satisfying. Now, I've been thinking a lot about dungeon design lately for a couple of reasons. One is that everybody is excited about Dungeon 23. If you aren't familiar, Sean McCoy came up with this wonderful idea for a year-long creative project. Every day you describe a single room of a dungeon, and then at the end of the month, you have 30 rooms or an entire floor of a dungeon finished, and then after 12 months, you have 12 floors, an entire mega dungeon that you've created from just a little bit of work each day. So even though I'm not personally participating in Dungeon 23, I do think it is an awesome way, an awesome low stakes way of kind of building a creative practice for yourself. And it's been really, really interesting seeing how other people are taking on the project and seeing what they're creating by just building a little room at a time each day. And I think the cool thing about this Dungeon 23 project is that it really puts a spotlight on process and the designing process. And it's really got me thinking and reflecting about my own dungeon design process. So yeah, I already make a new tabletop role-playing game zine every month on my Patreon, so the whole Dungeon 23 project feels a little bit redundant for me personally, but one of my goals for this year is to run more games. And I've realized that the biggest roadblock for me for running games frequently is the amount of time it takes to prep. The before the actual running the game part. Now, I'm sure this is gonna be an ongoing process for me, and I'm sure I'll make more videos about prepping and running games as the year goes on. But I thought it would be fun to take a closer look at one of these 3 one-shot adventures that I wrote for my Goons and Ghosts tabletop role-playing game and sort of reverse engineer it to figure out how to make writing and prepping future adventures a little bit easier. Okay, so let's take a look at the Department of Chaos. It's basically a dungeon inside a target. The players are these ghost hunters that have been hired to take care of some possessed shoppers. Oh yeah, spoilers for this adventure, by the way. Okay, so the story is these little demon critters are possessing people and causing all kinds of trouble throughout the store. And once enough chaos is caused, they summon Abaddon, the demon prince of chaos himself. Okay, so that's the gist of the story. It's pretty simple. This is a one-shot. But let's take a closer look at the design and writing of this adventure and reverse engineer it. Okay, on the back of the pamphlet, I have the hook written out. The players get a call and accept the job. It's pretty simple, but it works great for a one-shot. Next, if we open the pamphlet, there's a list of characters, NPCs that are wandering around the store, and then the Chaos Demon enemies. I really like playing different characters in my games, so I always throw in a bunch of NPCs. You could totally have less than this and put in more monsters, you know, whatever works for your story. And you'll also notice that these Chaos Demons only have a few stats listed. Goons and Ghosts is a really mechanically simple and easy to run game, so not much work is needed to get into the numbers side of things, which for me and my artist brain, that is very helpful. I guess it's important to collect stats and stuff for your monsters as you're writing them. In either case, I do like to list out some unique abilities for each monster. In this case, the demons can jump and climb, they can explode and bite and possess people. I think adding unique abilities is the stuff that makes battles fun and interesting for the players. Okay, next up we have our map and a list of the areas throughout the store, basically like dungeon rooms. And the nice thing about setting an adventure inside a Target is that it's really easy to describe. You know, everybody's been into a big box department store, so players will already have an image of what this place looks like in their head. When you're writing out your adventure, you might need to spend a little bit more time describing the setting. You know, I always like to focus on the senses. What does it look like, smell like, feel like? What are the players gonna hear and taste? Maybe you don't need to focus so much on taste. Now, one thing you can see is that I've only listed out 1 or 2 points for each section of the store. I really like how the old school essential dungeon adventures are formatted. Basically, they just write down the most obvious stuff first, and then what the players can find when they explore a little bit comes next. And this really seems like a good method to me for writing out dungeon rooms. It's easy to write and it's easy to run with just a little bit of information. Now, because this is a one-shot all about chaos demons, I've included a lot of randomness to this adventure. The demons move around the sections of the store randomly. I think it's fun because each time you run the adventure, it'll play a little bit differently. And I just think adding these sort of elements that are thematically appropriate to the adventure will make each one-shot feel unique and important. And lastly, if we flip to the back page, there is the big boss battle with Abaddon, the Harbinger of Chaos. Again, he's got a bunch of abilities like the other monsters, but then there's also some fun, chaotic, random stuff. He can transform the players, and each round of combat, some random event happens around him. I find that most of my one-shots tend to have some sort of boss monster or climactic finale. I think one-shots benefit from having this sort of succeed or fail state at the end. It makes the game session feel more complete, you know? I mean, maybe this isn't true, but it feels right to me. I don't know, what do you think? Okay, so reverse engineering this adventure. We have a hook, we have NPCs and monsters, we've got a map and descriptions of the locations, and we have a final encounter. As you're writing your own adventure, I don't think these things need to be planned out in any particular order. It's more important to work on the stuff where the ideas are currently flowing. But I think if you can fill out this entire list, you'll have basically made a really great one-shot adventure. And you know what? It sort of sounds to me like we're writing a story. We have all of the elements, right? There's an inciting incident, there's characters, there's setting, there's conflict. The only thing we're missing is a plot. But the plot comes from us actually playing the game, right? I think it's really fun to take a look back at the stuff that we've made, or take a look at stuff other people have made and analyze it and figure out how we can make our own fun adventures. Obviously, there is a ton more to be said about writing your own adventures and prepping for your games. I will definitely be making more videos as I experiment and refine my process over the year. If you're interested in checking out Goons and Ghosts, it's available in my online shop. It comes with the rule book, character sheets, and these 3 one-shot adventures. If you're interested in running or playing in a game about busting ghosts, I think this is a really fun option, if I do say so myself. If you'd like to support the channel and check out other adventures I've made, there's a link down in the description to my Patreon. Every month I write a new adventure and mail out zines to my patrons. Put a lot of work into these books and I'm really proud of them. And if you sign up, you get access to all of the old stuff as well. Okay, let me know if you have any tricks for writing adventures or prepping your games down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!